Welcome to Life Stories. Imagine dedicating your entire life to a family you love, only to discover the very people you trusted are secretly planning to erase you from everything you've built. What happens when loyalty is met with betrayal, and the foundation of your world starts to crumble beneath your feet? Tonight's story isn't just about family. It's about resilience, heartbreak, and the fierce fight to reclaim your truth. Stay with us as we unravel a journey where love and deception collide, and a woman must decide what she's willing to sacrifice for justice. Let's step inside and see how one shattered life begins to piece itself back together. Emma stood by the frosted garden window, her fingers trembling slightly as she hung the last strand of twinkling lights. Outside, the first snowflakes of December began to fall, blanketing the Johnson family estate in a serene white silence. Inside, however, a storm was gathering, a tempest far colder and more merciless than winter's chill. For 34 years, Emma had been the quiet architect of her family's comforts. While her mother Linda draped garlands and Olivia, her sister, perfected the table setting, Emma had been the one quietly shouldering the weight of renovations, family vacations, and expenses no one else seemed to notice. Her modest construction company was the backbone of their sprawling home, the foundation beneath their carefully curated facade. But today, something felt different. From the kitchen came muffled voices, low and urgent. Emma froze, her breath catching. The words drifted clearly to her ears. "We need to make sure she pays for the renovations. No one should know about this until it's done. The inheritance will go to Olivia. Emma, she's just the distraction, the failed dream." Her heart hammered as the realization washed over her like ice water. This was never about family, never about love. It was a calculated game, one that had been played behind her back for years. Her mother and sister, in whispered collusion, plotting her erasure. Emma's eyes darted to the delicate lights she had just hung, symbols of joy and unity now stained with betrayal. She stepped back slowly, hiding her shock behind a practiced smile that felt as fragile as the glass ornaments on the tree. She would not confront them tonight. Not yet. Because Emma knew the true battle wasn't the one fought in raised voices. It was the war waged in silence, in shadows, and in the quiet accumulation of secrets. But what happens when the foundation you built your entire life upon is riddled with cracks you never saw? Can love survive the weight of deception? Who really holds the power in a family torn between loyalty and greed? Tonight, the real story begins, and Emma is about to rewrite the rules of the game. The cold winter night outside held its breath, waiting. And Emma, she was ready to burn it all down. To be continued. Emma sat alone in the quiet of her workshop, the familiar scent of sawdust and pine filling the air, a sharp contrast to the turmoil swirling in her mind. The cozy glow of the workbench lamp illuminated the scattered blueprints and contracts she had been poring over. Yet tonight, her focus was elsewhere. The whispered betrayal from the family gathering replayed relentlessly in her thoughts. She had always prided herself on being the steady hand, the unshakable force behind the Johnson family's polished veneer. But beneath that calm exterior, a storm of anger and disbelief raged. How long had this secret been festering? How many times had Linda and Olivia smiled at her, all while weaving a web of deceit behind closed doors? Determined to take control, Emma had spent the past week collecting evidence. Hidden cameras tucked away in the living room and kitchen had captured candid conversations, moments of vulnerability, and cold calculations. What she discovered went far beyond a simple family squabble. Linda's affair with David, her father's business associate, was not just a fleeting mistake. It was a decade-long deception, a betrayal that ran deeper than Emma had imagined. But the cruelest blow was the spreadsheet she uncovered, detailing every dollar Emma had invested in the house's renovations, a staggering $57,450. Not a cent was to be returned. Instead, it was to be used as justification to cut her out of the inheritance altogether. Her mind raced with questions about justice and loyalty. Could she fight a battle against blood? Was exposing her mother worth the destruction it would bring? The thought of shattering her father's faith, unraveling the family's fragile peace, pained her more than the betrayal itself. Yet beneath the pain stirred a new fire, one not fueled by anger, but by the fierce desire for truth and respect. That morning, Emma made a decision. Instead of an explosive confrontation, she chose strategy. Quietly, she installed additional recording devices, meticulously planned her moves, and even reached out to a trusted lawyer to understand her options. This was no longer just about money or property, it was about reclaiming her identity, her dignity. When Olivia dropped by unexpectedly one afternoon, Emma's hidden recorder captured their hushed conversation. The coldness in Olivia's voice as she discussed finalizing legal documents to exclude Emma from the family estate cut deeper than any argument ever could. "This is the only way," Olivia whispered. "She'll never fit in, not with her little company. Mom's got the plan set. After the renovations, she's done with her." The phrase echoed in Emma's mind like a verdict. As the days passed, the double life Linda led became increasingly evident. Emma found messages revealing not just a hidden romance, but also a secret account, siphoning funds meant for family vacations, funds Emma had quietly contributed over the years. Emma's nights grew restless. She wrestled with the knowledge that the people she loved were also the ones who sought to erase her. The line between victim and warrior blurred, and the weight of choice pressed heavy on her shoulders. Could she forgive? Could she move past this fracture and rebuild a family? Or was this the end of the road? One evening, as the family prepared for Olivia's birthday party, Emma sat at the kitchen table, her fingers brushing over the cookie dough she was supposed to bake for the celebration. The room buzzed with forced cheer, but Emma felt detached, like an outsider observing a play she no longer wanted to perform in. Her mother's distracted glances at her phone, the nervous smiles, the whispered phone calls, all signs of a fragile house of cards ready to collapse. When Linda's phone buzzed with the name David, Emma's question came out soft but deliberate. "Who's David?" Her mother's hand faltered for a split second. "Just a client," she said, too quickly, too rehearsed. Emma smiled, but it was no longer the smile of the obedient daughter. It was the quiet smile of someone who had already seen the truth. That night, Emma overheard the tender voice of her mother speaking to David in a way she had never heard before, whispers filled with longing and secrecy. Each word was a dagger, each pause a silent confession. The next morning, Emma's resolve hardened. She was no longer just the daughter who built a home. She was a woman prepared to dismantle the lies that threatened to bury her. But as she prepared for the final reveal, a troubling thought gnawed at her. In seeking justice, was she about to become the very person she despised, a destroyer of families? Can the pursuit of truth ever justify the pain it causes? When does standing up for oneself cross the line into betrayal? Emma's reckoning was coming, and with it, a choice that could either save her soul or shatter it forever. The quiet before the storm was over. What would you do if the people you trusted most turned out to be your greatest enemies? The story isn't over yet. The next chapter will reveal whether Emma's fight for justice will heal the wounds or deepen the scars. The room felt impossibly still as Emma stood at the head of the dining table, the weight of years pressing down on her shoulders like the heavy winter air outside. The Johnson family was gathered. Her father Michael, mother Linda, sister Olivia, and Olivia's husband Mark, all unaware that tonight would unravel the carefully constructed world they had built on secrets and lies. Emma's fingers brushed the folder of evidence resting on the table before her. Every hidden recording, every secret message, every dollar she had poured into the family home, all meticulously compiled into a narrative they could no longer deny. The air was thick with anticipation as she looked around the room, meeting each stunned gaze with unwavering calm. Before the laughter and forced pleasantries could resume, Emma raised her glass. "Before we celebrate tonight," she said, voice steady but filled with quiet power, "I want to toast to truth, the truth that has been hidden beneath this home for far too long." A tense silence followed. Michael shifted uncomfortably in his chair, Olivia's face drained of color. Linda's eyes flickered with a mixture of fear and defiance. Emma tapped a button on the tablet in front of her. The living room filled with the voices she had captured. The cold whispers of Linda and Olivia plotting to cut Emma out. The casual cruelty of calling her a failure. The revelation of Linda's long affair with David. The betrayal of siphoning Emma's money into secret accounts. Each word echoed through the elegant room like a hammer striking glass. Olivia's trembling hand dropped the wineglass, shattering it against the hardwood floor. Mark stood abruptly, anger flashing in his eyes, fumbling to delete files on his phone under the table, only to realize the damage was done. Everything was backed up and unalterable. Michael's face, once so composed, contorted with disbelief and rage. "Linda," he finally exploded, voice breaking, "how long? How long have you been living this lie? Betraying me, our family?" Linda's defenses crumbled as tears welled in her eyes. "It's not what you think," she whispered, desperation thick in her voice. "I never meant to hurt anyone." "But you did," Emma said, stepping forward. "You hurt us all." She laid out the spreadsheet, every cent she had invested in renovations, the stolen family vacation funds, the detailed timeline for excluding her from inheritance. "For 34 years, Emma continued, "I was the one holding this family together. And this is how you repay me." The room was swallowed by silence. Then Michael, shaking with emotion, quietly admitted, "I never knew. I ignored the signs. I was blind." Olivia's tears were no longer feigned. "Emma, I'm sorry. We were wrong." But apologies could not undo years of pain. Emma looked at her mother one last time. "There's nothing left to say." She turned, grabbed her coat, and stepped toward the door. Outside, the cold December wind bit at her face, but Emma felt an unfamiliar lightness, an unburdening. The following days were a blur of legal meetings and tense conversations. Michael chose to rewrite his will, intending to leave the estate to Emma, recognizing her integrity amid the chaos. Olivia and Mark faced restraining orders, severing ties that once seemed unbreakable. Emma moved into a sleek, modern condo near her office, her sanctuary. The space was smaller but hers, untouched by deceit, filled with her own hard work and dreams. Her workshop corner, bathed in soft afternoon light, became a place of healing. One evening, as Emma sketched plans for a new project, a message from her father appeared. "I'm sorry for the years lost. Let's rebuild, not as the family we were, but as the people we can be." Emma smiled, a slow, genuine smile that reached her eyes. The scars remained, but so did hope. In the quiet, she realized something profound. Sometimes breaking free from the past is the only way to build a future. As snowflakes danced outside, Emma whispered to herself, "This is just the beginning." What do you think about Emma's journey through betrayal, resilience, and renewal? How would you react if faced with such family secrets? If this story moved you, type 100 in the comments to show your support. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments below. Please share this story with your friends to inspire those who may need hope. Thank you for watching Life Stories.